Welcome back, folks, and it's time for another subscriber battle. And in this one, Challenger Aric has decided to take me on, bringing my Mono Dark type team. It's actually a Mega Sableye-led stall team. It's a bit disgusting, actually, and it uses Mandibuzz as a physical tank to counter out the fighting type hits. Mega Sableye obviously can counter out fighting, and I have Honchkrow Mandibuzz to cover the bug type weaknesses. I have Drapion there for toxic spikes, for knockoff, and for roar, and generally be an absolute nuisance. I have a Choice Specs Hydreigon for wall breaking, and I've got my who did I leave out? I think I've forgotten who I've left out. It's Healbell Umbreon, that's the one. Healbell Umbreon is there to act as a cleric. Obviously, if I'm stalling, I'm actually fairly susceptible to taking toxics and various other status myself, so to beat out other stall, I like to bring along a cleric of my own, and that's Healbell Umbreon to try and help out the rest of my team. He's going to lead with the Garchomp, and I'm predicting him to predict the Will-O-Wisp and swap out, so I actually go for the Calm Mind on the first turn, and over-predicting, I end up misplaying because I take the Earthquake to the face that I really shouldn't have done so, and takes me down to 50%, which is huge, and I actually get to crit on the second Earthquake, so I end up going all the way down into the red, but I do have the Will-O-Wisp applied. That's the burn, so Garchomp's attack is basically gone now. I'm able to recover back up, and now I know I'm able to stay in. And without any great attacking options, my opponent's going to stay in and go for the Outrage because he doesn't want to try and save the Garchomp for later, not when it's burned, and he doesn't really have very many options for how to use it. So he's going to try and stay in and keep the offensive pressure on, trying to force me to keep going for recovers so I'm not able to start applying Calm Mind boosts. And I'm happy enough with that. I mean, I really just want rid of the Garchomp, so Garchomp's gonna go right down into the red. I've basically done no damage to it, it's just the burn that's harming it. Going for the Outrage again. It's confused due to fatigue, but I see the opportunity here because I'm pretty high health, and I know that it's going to drop on the next turn, so there's no reason for me to attack it. Instead, I'll go for the Calm Mind, I'll allow the burn to finish it off, and I've managed to get +2 in both special attack and special defense. And with his Garchomp down, he's now going to go into Tyranitar, and I realize that this thing, yeah, it's going to set up with Dragon Dance, but this thing's another physical attacker, and Mega Sableye can absolutely ruin those. So I'm just going to go for another Will-O-Wisp, because why not? And I'm starting to realize in this case that, dare I call it a sweep? Can Mega Sableye sweep if it's not a true sweeper? What do you call it when one Pokemon stalls through 6 Pokemon? Is that a sweep? It's a perfect wall, really. And I'm just going to stay in, go for another recover. This thing isn't really able to do much to me. And even if it carried T-Wave or something, it's not able to, obviously, because of the Magic Bounce. And he's going to go for another Dragon Dance. He's got 2 Dragon Dances behind him, which obviously brings his attack back up to normal. It undoes the Burns effect of cutting it in half. And with his attack back up to normal, he has a chance of maybe doing some damage, but I'm not going to let him do all that for free. Instead, I'm going to go with a Dark Pulse, get some chip damage in there. I'm going to go for another Calm Mind because I realize he's going to take at least 3 hits to try and KO. But actually, I don't think I really countered in the Sandstorm damage. That might be crucial. My opponent's going to go for another Rock Slide. He ends up missing. Thankfully, I get off the hook there. I'm able to recover all the way back up to full again. Sandstorm subsides, and now his Tyranitar is looking fairly sad in the mix here. He ends up going for another Rock Slide. It hits. He's not going to get enough damage though. It's still far more damage than I'm comfortable with, but Dark Pulse is going to finish the Tyranitar. That's the end of that nonsense. And now we've got a Charizard on the field, and it's a Charizard Y as well, but think of how many boosts I have. I believe I'm at +3 special defense here, and obviously I'm not able to burn this thing, so I'm just going to have to go straight for the Dark Pulse and simply try to attack my way through it. But holy hell, Fire Blast in the Sun against Mega Sableye, and look at the amount of damage he's able to do. So wisely, my opponent doesn't try to risk it with a second Fire Blast when I could simply recover back up. He's going to go for the Dragon Pulse. That's enough to bring down Mega Sableye, and I go straight into Honchkrow. And knowing that this thing wants to attack me, or rather knowing that Megazord Y basically only ever carries 4 attacks, the Sucker Punch was the wise play. So I get +1 on my Sucker Punch against Charizard Y. Now I get +2 on this Sucker Punch against the Metagross, and it's a critical hit. Don't know if that mattered, It is a max attack adamant Moxie Haunch Crow with +1 behind it and a stab super effective Sucker Punch, so I think it might have got it anyway. But here's a Sucker Punch against his second Psychic attack, and Psychic type, and that's +3 on the Moxie. So this thing is absolutely going to wreck him, and now he has a choice. Does he face my Brave Bird or Sucker Punch? And he actually calls it out. He goes for the Will-O-Wisp. He's gonna able to cut my attack back down, but I still have +3 boost by me, so it's a huge amount of attack either way. I go for the Sucker Punch. It's going to hit. That brings it down. It doesn't have a Focus Sash, and there's the game. So thank you for the challenge, Aric. Hopefully you'll challenge me again. Looking forward to our rematch, and thank you for watching, guys. I will see you next time.